for this. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. You're all very welcome to today's sessions, Gems from Srimadbhagavatam. And today we are learning about how to be grateful for the grace of the Lordship and seeking protection and love. Hare Krishna. So please join us for the invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriet. Shravatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shamana Kirtanaha Hridayantastho Hya Bhadrani Vidhunoti Suhatsatam Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagvat Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, you are all very welcome in today's sessions from Srimadbhagavatam, gems from Srimadbhagavatam. We are covering the gem where the wonderful interaction with the Lordship that Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj is having. So here, please join us in the prayers and the recitation of the verses. So today we are covering 4 verses, but this is the most important one that's setting the background. Swapadamule patitam tam abhrakam vilokya devah kripaya pariplutaha uttapya tacha chirshya udadhat karambujam kalahi vitrastadhiyam kratabhyam. This is from Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Verse 5. And of course, this can also be read in another meter. Swapadamule patitam tam abhrakam vilokya devah kripaya pariplutaha uttapya tacha chirshne udadhat karambhujam kalahi vitrastadhyam kritabhyam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. When Lord Nrsimhadev saw the small boy, Prahlad Maharaj, prostrated at the soles of his lotus feet, he became most ecstatic in affection toward his devotee. Raising Prahlad, the Lord placed his lotus hand upon the boy's head because his hand is always ready to create fearlessness in all of his devotees. Purport. Devi, would you like to read purport?
Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The necessities of the material world are 4: Ahar, Nidra, Bhaya, and Mathuna. Eating, sleeping, defending, and mating. In this material world, everyone is in fearful consciousness, Sada Samudvigna Dhyam. And the only means to make everyone fearless is Krishna consciousness. When Lord Nrsimhadev appeared, all the devotees became fearless. The devotees' hope of becoming fearless is to chant the holy name of Lord Nrsimhadev. Yato yato yami tato Nrsimha. Wherever we go, we must always think of Lord Nrsimhadev. Thus, there will be no fear for the devotee of the Lord.
We'll do the translation for the next 3 verses and purport. Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Verse 6. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. By the touch of Lord Nrsimhadev's hand on Prahlad Maharaj's head, Prahlad was completely freed of all material contaminations and desires, as if he had been thoroughly cleansed. Therefore, he at once became transcendentally situated, and all the symptoms of ecstasy became manifest in his body. His heart filled with love and his eyes with tears, and thus he was able to completely capture the lotus feet of the Lord within the core of his heart. Purport, Devi.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verse 26, Mam cha yoga bicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstances, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Mam hi patha vyapashritya yeapishya papayonaya striyo vaisyas tatha shudras teapi yanti param gatim. O son of Pritha, those who take shelter in me, though they may be of lower birth, women, vaishyas, merchants, as well as shudras, workers, can approach the supreme destination. On the strength of these verses from Bhagavad Gita, it is evident that although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a demonic family and although virtually demonic blood flowed within his body, he was cleansed of all material bodily contamination because of his exalted position as a devotee. In other words, such impediments on the spiritual path could not stop him from progressing, for he was directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those who are physically and mentally contaminated by theism cannot be situated on the transcendental platform, but as soon as one is freed from material contamination, he is immediately fit to be situated in devotional service.
Canto 7, Chapter 9, verse 7. Translation purport by His Divine Grace HG Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Prahlad Maharaj fixed his mind and sight upon Lord Narasimha with full attention in complete trance. With a fixed mind, he began to offer prayers in love with a faltering voice. Devi?
Hare Krishna, Jai Srila Prabhupada. The word Susamahita means very attentive or fully fixed. The ability to fix the mind in this way is a result of Yoga Siddhi, mystic perfection. As it is stated in Srimadbhagavatam, Canto 12, Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pashyamiyam yogina. One attains yogic perfection when he is freed from all material diversions and his mind is fixed upon the lotus feet of the Lord. This is called samadhi or trance. Prahlad Maharaj attained that stage beyond the senses because he was engaged in service. He felt transcendentally situated and naturally his mind and attention became saturated in transcendence. In that condition, he began to offer his prayers as follows.
Translation. Prahlad Maharaj prayed, how is it possible for me, who have been born in a family of asuras, to offer suitable prayers to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Even until now, all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma and all the saintly persons could not satisfy the Lord by streams of excellent words, although such persons are very qualified, being in the mode of goodness. Then what is to be said of me? I am not at all qualified. Purport.
Jai Srila Prabhupada. A Vaishnava who is fully qualified to serve the Lord still thinks himself extremely low while offering prayers to the Lord. For example, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita, says, Jagai madhai haite muni se papistha, puri sherikita haite muni se lagistha. Thus he considers himself unqualified, lower than the worms in the stew, and more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. A pure Vaishnava actually thinks of himself in this way. Similarly, although Prahlad Maharaj was a pure exalted Vaishnava, he thought himself most unqualified to offer prayers to the Supreme Lord. Mahajano yena gatasa pantha. Every pure Vaishnava should think like this. One should not falsely be proud. One should not be falsely proud of his Vaishnava qualifications. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has therefore instructed, Tanadapi sunichena tadorapi sahishuna amanina manadena kirtanya sadahari. One should chant the holy name of Krishna in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Unless one is meek and humble, to make progress in spiritual life is very difficult.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please join me in reciting Srila Prabhupada Pranati and seeking blessings from the Acharyas. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nite Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshitarine Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripa tadaham vande Shri Gurum dinataranam. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So such beautiful realizations are that of Prahlad Maharaj. So again, today we'll be looking at these verses from the devotees' perspectives, right? That we are grateful for every opportunity that we have in our life to serve the Lord. And Prahlad Maharaj is approaching Lord Nrsimhadev. So let me cover the background, what is actually happening in this case. So what has happened? Prahlad Maharaj, again, Hiranyakashipu is his father. And Hiranyakashipu was Asura, demon. It doesn't mean that he was born of a demon kingdom. Actually, his father was Parashamuni and his mother was Diti. And so he has got a father who is a Brahmin. And his mother is actually one of the daughters of Daksha. And so that was very nice parenthood. Yet at the same time, his mindset, his actions were demoniac. Because why is it demonic? Because he was focusing on sense gratification. So I can prove to you that sense gratification is very good when it is directed towards Lord's sense gratification. But when it's directed towards our own sense gratification, then it becomes demonic. So that's the difference, devotee versus demons. And Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksh both were born of Diti. They were conceived in an evening, near the dusk time, where Lord Shiva would go out. So again, Diti, she asked her husband what to happen. So in this particular case, actually not Parashar, Kashyapa Muni. So Kashyapa Muni reveals that these two sons, they will have demonic propensity, because in the evening time when you conceive a baby, that baby captures the demonic qualities. And so she was worried, but then Kashyapa Muni reveals that do not worry, that these two sons of yours, the two sons, they will be delivered by Lord Vishnu. They will be killed by Lord Vishnu. So she was like, oh, they will attain the goal of life. So she, as a mother, she was thinking, oh, this is the goal of life, my husband says, and so they will attain it. Now these two sons are born. So they, for 100 years, she was, keeping them in the womb. So they were like real big demons as they were growing. Now, when we think of demons, sometimes we have they have big horns and very ferocious features and all that stuff. But these two personalities were just giant. Danav. Danav is another word for giant. And these two giants, Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyakashipu was conceived first, then Hiranyaksha was conceived. And again, Hiranyaksha was killed by Lord Varahadev, because he was always looking for gold, caused the earth to fall down in the Garbhuda question. Lord took the form of Varahadev, because Varaha, when he was getting, Hiranyaksha was getting boons from Lord Brahma, he listed all the living entities types, right? He even listed humans, demigods, and so forth. But then he said, Varaha means again a boar. That's a dirty animal. I don't even want to take the name. So Lord took that as an opportunity. So this is, of course, Saraswati doing it, making him skip one name. And so Lord appeared in that form, goes to the Netherland regions of, like, the very dirty regions in Darbhuta, can lift the earth. And of course, he kills Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu becomes upset. He's like, oh, Vishnu has cheated again. He has taken the sides of Devtas. He's partial. And so he went for meditation to get strength. However, when he was meditating, first attempt had failed. He came back. He was with Karayu. Then second attempt, and the instruction of his spiritual master Shukracharya, he again went, and this time Lord Brahma granted him a boon that he'll not be killed inside the house, outside the house. He'll not be killed in the sky or on land or in water. He will not be killed during the day or during the night. So again, he will not be killed by the weapons that are thrown as well as weapons that are held, astra and shastra. So various conditions were placed. And he regained an amazing body full of all yogic powers by the blessing of Lord Brahma. And now Hiranyakashipu, he was upset that his brother was killed by Vishnu. So he actually went over and conquered everyone in this universe. So he became the Lord of the universe. When he was gone the second time, at that time Kayadu, his wife, was pregnant. And so Indra, thinking that yes, Hiranyakashipu will come back and will attack us, before that we should attack his kingdom, take away everything. So when they had attacked, they had, Indra was dragging away Kayadu. Now Indra is half brother, half cousin. So again, Indra is son of the 11th son of Aditi, who's the elder sister of Diti, and they both have same husband, Kashyapa Muni. So here, Indra is literally dragging in a way his younger brother's wife because she is pregnant. And at that time, Sage Narad appears. He says, "Why are you dragging this, helpless woman?" And he says, "Oh, this is wife of Hiranyakashipu, and she will bear a demon in her womb and will destroy the demon." And that time, Sage Narad says, "No, actually, there is a Mahabhagavat in her womb." So Indra and other demigods, they immediately circumambulated, asked for forgiveness, paid obeisances, and left. So Sage Narad took her to his ashram, which was in Vrindavan, Madhuvan actually. And there, Devashi Narad, Sage Narad, gave her instructions. So again, that was an ashram where, even though Devashi Narad was cursed by Daksha, that he cannot stay at any place, more than sufficient time. Again, it can only be, he'll be constantly wandering, which is actually a boon from Devashi Narad, Sage Narad's perspective. Vrindavan area is transcendental. So he could stay there. Lord Krishna reveals to him that he can stay there as long as he desires. So this is where he kept Kayadu. And so being a woman, she forgot the instruction, but in a womb, Prahlad was hearing these instructions very nicely. So when Hiranyakashipu came back, Sage Narad took his wife, Kayadu, gave it to, returned her to Hiranyakashipu. He was very happy. Now imagine this. Hiranyakashipu is an enemy of Lord Vishnu. He knows that Sage Narad is a devotee of Lord Vishnu. But because Sage Narad took care of his wife, he becomes obliged to be respectful, and he was grateful for keeping his wife safe from Indra's hands. Hiranyakashipu went on and conquered the whole universe. Indra, Varun, Agni, they were like in his courtyard. They were paying obeisances to him every day. And all the activities of even Vivaswan, he was able to perform perfectly. So if you look at the earthly conditions, the earth was prospering like anything at that time. Right? Sometimes people think, hey, if the earth is prospering, that's like Ram Rajya. But here, Hiranyakashipu is the one who is using his powers, his yogic strength to sustain everything. And so everyone who was his follower was prospering. He had stopped all the yajnas. Why? Because all the yajnas give strength to the demigods. He doesn't want demigods to become powerful. He said all the yajnas should be performed for me. And Lord Vishnu, even he was able to enter the Vaikuntha. So again, in this material universe, and actually in every material universe, there is a planet where the Supreme Lord resides. Shirodakshai Vishnu is known as Paramatma. So Shirodakshai Vishnu, he expands as Paramatma and is residing in every living entity's heart. So at that time, he doesn't find Lord Vishnu in Vaikuntha on that planet. So he's like, where is he gone? It's revealed by the acharyas that Lord had entered his own heart. So sometimes we say, there's darkness right under the lamp or a candle. Diyatalendera, he's looking out everywhere, but Lord is residing in his heart. And so when he gets his son back, Prahlad, Kayadu and Prahlad, they come and live with him after Srinada, brings them back. He asked Prahlad when Prahlad was just a boy and started going to the Gurukul. And this Gurukul, the teachers were Shanda and Amarka, the sons of Shukracharya. And they were teaching him how to be, diplomatic, how to be politically correct, but get your, goals achieved and so forth. Prahlad, he would ignore their instructions because he had received higher instructions. So he's got a higher taste, right? When you have something very wonderful, right? When you have like a house of gold and all the ornaments and pearls in your house, you won't care somebody has a house of wood, somebody has a house of cement. So this was his case. Means Prahlad Maharaj, he was always in remembrance of the Lord and he was in ecstasy. So first time, so again, the three strikes happen. First strike is when Hiranyakashipu, he asks his son, tell me something very nice that you have learned. And Prahlad Maharaj, he immediately says that one who has conquered the whole universe, but who has failed to conquer his own mind, should leave everything and go to the jungle. So Hiranyakashipu at that time laughed. He said, seems like some Vaishnava, some devotees of Vishnu. Vaishnava means devotees of Vishnu. Now, who is she devotee of Vishnu? That's Vaishno Devi, goddess Durga. So here, Hiranyaksha is telling Shanna, you better watch out because it seems like some devotees are coming to your Gurukul and polluting the mind of these students, these children. So they understand, yes, we should be very careful. And they take Prahlad again, and this time they say, we have to protect the children and teach them nicely. Now, this very first strike that Prahlad Maharaj has made is very instructive. Sometimes the love bond is sometimes so strong that people expect you to agree with them even when they are wrong, which is actually a great dangerous situation to be in. We should always have this conversation whether what we are doing is correct from the points of Shastras, from the point of social stature, and so forth. So here a son is correcting his father. That means even a son can correct his father when it comes to the righteousness, when it comes to following the right path. It is tough, but it should be practiced. So when a son can practice this, why shouldn't a husband practice this with his wife? Or why shouldn't a wife practice this with her husband? And this is why devotees, we always have conversation. And I can tell you my best times is when, Devi corrects me by saying, you did this, but at the same time, it could have been better this way. And I'm like, yes, this is very amazing that, she is actually able to see beyond what I am able to see and has me raised to a higher platforms for my benefit. So Prahlad Maharaj, what he was telling his father is that you have to accept Lord Vishnu. You have to conquer your mind, which is inside you, not outside you. Hare Krishna, there was some noise. So it is very instructive from that perspective that, parents should always take care of the children. Yes, they should love their children. But at the same time, one of the most important responsibility of parents is that they should discipline their children to make them righteous. It's a very important task. Now, one of the friends, as we were discussing, he made me realize that just because we got a piano, we don't become master pianists. Just because we have a son or a daughter doesn't make us best parent in the world. Parenting is a learning exercise. It's a learning of being grateful for all the blessings that we have received. It's a learning that there's a lot of lessons that will come our way, which will require us to be patient, which will require us to be appreciative, which will require us to be inspiring for them to take to the righteous path. Now, here, even when a parent disciplines the children, we have to be intelligent about it. right? So I can give you an example. One of my friend, he went to the Gurukula, and he was like, I never got attached to chanting. And I asked him why. This is the best thing, the sweetest thing, the easiest thing to make spiritual progress is chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So how could you not be attached to chanting? He was a little surprised that I was, not agreeing with him. And I was challenging him. And I said, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, kala nashdev, nashdev, nashdev gatiranyatha. This chanting of the holy name, chanting of the holy name, chanting of the holy name is the only way to destroy the effects of this Kali Age, to destroy the effects of this Kali Age, to destroy the effects of Kali Age. Now, 3 times it's said because of stress, the importance. He heard me. That he smiled. He said, yes, I agree with you from Shastic perspective, but not from the experience perspective. I said, why? He said, because in Gurukul, every time we did a little mischief, we were giving it as a punishment that you sit here in this corner and chant 2 rounds. You sit here in this corner and chant 5 rounds. And that made us got us into the feeling that chanting means punishment. So while the same object is, again, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is there, but the experience that one gets, and this is the case of Hiranyakashipu, he was feeling remorse because of loss of his brother. And he thought that this causes Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. So in this particular case, he became agnostic, he became against, he became anti-atheist. So here, this is what his state is. And that's why when, as parents, we try to improve our children, we should improve them with intelligence. And we should also take help from other devotees so that we know what is to be done, what is not to be done. So here, first strike was that Prahlad Maharaj, he actually helps Hare Krishna. His father understand that one has to conquer one's mind. And Mana Tayati iti mantra. The one that delivers the mind, that helps us conquer the mind, is mantra. And so the best mantra is Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is first strike. Second strike, after Prahlad Maharaj was going to school, at that time, after some time, his mother Kayadu, she dressed him very nicely and sent him to Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu said, okay, Prahlad, tell me what you have learned this time. First time he ignored because he was expecting something like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And then he said, oh, somebody must have, polluted the mind of this baby, young boy. So that's why he was saying one should conquer the mind, not the universe. I am the Lord of the universe, he was thinking. First time. Second time, Prahlad Maharaj says, the best of the knowledge is Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedam. Again, he is revealing to his father that they are Navvidha Bhakti. Sravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. Iti Pumsa Pita Vishnu Bhakti Che Navalakshana. So these are the 9 processes of devotional service. Now Hiranyakashipu is upset. The second strike has just happened. He's like, oh, my son is a follower of my enemy. Sometimes, even in devotees' lives, devotees have to face these kind of situations. When we become devotee, everyone in the family thinks that we have given up all worldly responsibilities. We are using it as escapism, as Arjun was using, to not fight, in the first chapter, observing the armies in Bhagavad Gita. But that's not the case. We are still carrying out our duties. We're carrying out our duties in this world in perfect alignment with our spiritual duties, the spiritual responsibility, which is devotional service, focusing everything as an offering to Lord Vishnu and for his pleasure, for his sense gratification. Rishikesha Rishikena Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. So again, when we engage our senses in the pleasure of Lord's satisfaction for His pleasure, then He is the Lord of the senses. And that is the best way to act. Even to Arjun, Lord Krishna says, Mam Smaran Yuddhacha, remembering me, you fight. So everything should be offered to me. He has very clearly stated this in 927 also in Bhagavad Gita. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yad juhoshi darasi yat tapasyasi kante tat karusho madapram yat karoshi, whatever you do, yadashnasi, whatever you eat, yad juhoshi darasi yad. So whatever we engage with our mind, body and words, whatever austerity, sacrifices we perform, all should be done for Lord's satisfaction. And that's what Prahlad Maharaj was indirectly stating. Yet at the same time, Hiranyakashipu now became enemy of his own son. A father becomes enemy of his son is also a very important lesson to learn. Because sometimes in the life of a devotee, the non-devotees, they, because of their own insecurities, they start attacking devotees. So that's where devotees have to be very, very intelligent about how they present themselves, right? Yet at the same time, Prahlad Maharaj, he was made to go through so many atrocities. He was ordered by his own father that he be killed, right? And stamped under mad elephant's feet, sent among the snakes, and so many other cases. But Prahlad Maharaj, he was always remembering Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, and so he was always protected. And third time, when Hiranyakashipu came to know that Prahlad, even though he was thrown from a cliff, nothing happened, not a scratch came to him. He was surprised and he said, Prahlad, third time he calls Prahlad, he says, where do you get all this energy? Prahlad says, the source of energy is same for me and for you, and the source of energy is none other than Lord Vishnu. And he's like, where is Lord Vishnu? Because Hiranyakashipu was looking for Lord Vishnu. So Prahlad says, he's everywhere. Hiranyakashipu says, is he in the pillar? Prahlad says, yes, he's in the pillar. So now Hiranyakashipu is so upset, he takes out his sword, about to kill Prahlad, and he just, jabs onto the pillar. And suddenly there is sound, and from the pillar, Lord Nrsimhadev appears. It is at the dusk time. He is using, he's not inside the house, outside the house, and at the entrance of the house, of the palace, and he using his nails, which are not live or dead. It's not a Asta, Shastra, it's dusk time, meeting all the conditions. He, kills Hiranyakashipu on his lap. So he's not in the air or on the ground or in the water. He's on the lap of the Lord. Hiranyakashipu is killed. Lord Nrsimhadev is still very angry because somebody tried to destroy his enemy, Prahlad Maharaj, Bhakta Prahlad. And even though there are demigods who came and they're praying to Lord Nrsimhadev, he's not coming down. Lord Brahma comes, he's praying, Lord is not coming down. Lord Shiva comes, he's praying. Narad, Sharad, and many other sages, they all come and pray. The residents of various planets, Siddhalok, Charanalok, everyone is coming, and Lord is not satisfied. He is still very angry, as if destruction of the universe is about to happen. Everyone's feeling like that. Goddess Lakshmi, she didn't even recognize. She's like, this cannot be Vishnu. She felt so fearful to see even, at the Lordship. And so at that time, Lord Brahma came to Prahlad and he said, my dear Prahlad, Lord Nrsimhadev is upset with your father. So only you can, we should try to pacify him. So hearing this instruction, Prahlad Maharaj, he approached Lord Nrsimhadev. As soon as he approached Lord Nrsimhadev, he paid Sashtang Pranam, like Sashtang means again all fully flat, like a Dandvat, right? Dand refers to a stick, and as a stick falls down, Dandvat. So he is paying obeisances and immediately seeing Prahlad. When we are a small child will come and pay us obeisances, we of course become very pleasing. Automatically, we become very benevolently disposed towards the child and we immediately lift the child. So similarly, Nrsimhadev, he raises Prahlad and places his hand on Prahlad's head. So his lotus hand, he is blessing Prahlad. And as soon as that touch happens, Prahlad Maharaj, all his impurities, whatever was there, He was anyway devotee. Whatever little impurity was there, that could be because of, innocence of the childhood, not having full knowledge and so forth. All those were washed away. He was now in perfect knowledge, in a pure state. And at that time, Prahlad Maharaj is starting his prayers that I am actually born of a demoniac family. So sometimes people think of this way. Why is he calling himself demonic? Because his father was a demon. He was an enemy of Lord Vishnu. So he is saying, my father. And of course, Prahlad Maharaj was also a little disturbed seeing his father being killed by Lord Narasimhadev right in front. He couldn't believe, because when his father was trying to kill Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu was trying to kill Prahlad, Prahlad was thinking that my father is just playing with me. He's just trying to test me with various things. And I'm protected by Lord Vishnu, by greater father. So what's the fear in this? Well, in this particular case, he was a little disturbed. So, of course, here what happens is that how even a young devotee in demonic family can inspire Lord Narasimhadev's mercy. This is showing the power of innocence, surrender, and devotion. So just this Sunday, we had Gaur Purnima festival. We were doing the ceremony of
the second anniversary, new temple opening.
New temple opening, second anniversary, yes. And we were doing Abhishek on 5 different stations.
Gaur Purnima yesterday.
Yeah, Gaur Purnima was yesterday. Thank you. So the second opening of this temple. And it was very interesting. We were just given the instruction that, on the first station, we were on the 5th station. But sometimes I would take some of the paraphernalia back to the first station. And there I saw the devotees, they were asked to make sure that, okay, those who are Brahman initiated, they can make the offering on their own. They don't need any assistance. But those who are not Brahman initiated should get support. A Brahman should hold their, offering vessel. And so the offering should be made. The bathing of the Lordship can continue on. And we were using, milk to bathe the Lord. So as they were carrying out their duty, they asked one person that, are you Brahman initiated? Oh, the person got furious. And they said, how dare you ask me? I am Brahman initiated. And everyone was like raising. We are only following the protocol. It was a very funny scenario because the qualities of a Brahman are given in Bhagavad Gita, right? So again, a Brahman should be tolerant and Tamas Swacham Shatyam Ajvam Jnanam Vijnanam Astikam Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. So these are the qualities of a Brahman. And then we just expressed that we are just following the instruction. And this person was very furious, and that furious state they were making the offering. We were all quietly observing, and we knew that the Lordship would not be accepting this offering because the mood in which this person is offering, like, I am authorized. This is not a mood of a Brahmana. Where we see that Prahlad Maharaj is a Mahajana. Mahajana yena gata pantha. So we have to follow the examples of Mahajanas. And the greatest Mahajana is saying that I am not qualified. Even Narottam Das Thakur, when he sings, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Karo More Tum bin ke dayalu jagat samsare Patita pavana hetu tava avataro Mosama patita prabhu napai bearo. This is Narottam Das Thakur. He is singing, he's praying that, my dear God, Sundar, your birth, you have appeared to deliver the fallen. And I'm the most fallen of all the beings. This is a mood of a Brahmana, of a devotee. Now, in the same gathering, there was another devotee. He was just Harinam initiated. But he was so humble and he was so grateful for the opportunity, and he was so nicely showing his gesture was so touching as he was making the offering. We said, this person, maybe he got just Harinam initiation, but he is greater than many of the Brahmanas that we see in this gathering. So again, this again goes back to reflect that a Vaishnava is greater than Brahmana. Brahmana is in the modes of material goodness. So mode of goodness is also a material mode. But a Vaishnava is in a transcendental mode, above the three modes of material nature. So yes, it's good to be a Brahmana, but it's great to be a Vaishnava. And of course, even though the person was Harinam initiated, we saw his mood, we saw his offering to the Lordship with so much love. Like the tears were glistening in his eyes, and by the time he went to the fifth platform, he was crying. We said, this is how a Vaishnava should be. And this is an exemplary Vaishnava right here. And of course, we said he doesn't need a Brahmana to help him. Lord is accepting every drop of his offering. So this is the mood of Prahlad Maharaj, that he doesn't think himself. He's not showing the power of, great scholarly. Prahlad Maharaj is not saying, I'm a great scholar, or I'm the prince, the next in the throne and next in the lineage, or I am, the great devotee. He's saying, how could I be so, qualified to offer any praise? I'm not qualified to offer any praise. However, even though I'm not qualified, I'll try my best to please the Lord. So sometimes we see that sometimes children, they would do things to please the parents, and that's a reflection because they are following Prahlad Maharaj's example. Yet at the same time, parents have to be encouraging, yet in the right order, inspiring, encouraging, help them grow in the proper mood. That is very important. Pampering sometimes fires back. So yes, Chanakya, and again say Chanakya, he's also a Vaishnava. He revealed very nice, Chanakya Pandit has revealed that Pandit means a great scholar. But at the same time, his teachings are very important. He says that yes, when a child is still 5 years of age, you should pamper the child. But then you should discipline the child from 5 years onwards till he is an adult. And when he's an adult, treat him like a friend. So this, when we follow, we see amazing growth in the life of that soul who has received this boon of a human birth. So again, this human birth is rare. We already covered that. So here, Prahlad Maharaj, a small boy, is born in a family of Asuras. He was prostrated at Lord Nrsimhadev's lotus feet. The Lord mercifully glanced, lifted him, and touched his hand, bestowing fearlessness. And this is very important, that fearlessness in devotion is the touch of God, not the feats of the mind. Right? We all face fears, material anxieties, ego challenges, the sense of inadequacy. Prahlad's childhood demonstrates that sincere surrender, not scholarship, not prowess, just sincere surrender in innocence with full, mood to please the Lord, in the mood to satisfy the Lord, invites divine protection and courage. So here, Lord Nrsimhadev sees Prahlad at his feet. He spontaneously expressed ecstatic love. So this is Lordship. He's showing that even the smallest offering of devotion evokes divine response from the Lordship. So today, we'll be covering the acronym through OBEY. O in OBEY is on obedience, that we have to surrender to the divine will without hesitation. It may be against our will, but it is to be done without hesitation. So think of a time when you did something and things didn't go your way. Were you upset? If you were, then you are still in conditioned state. Because Lord clearly says, in Bhagavad Gita, actually, there is an overall message. Yes, man mana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishya satyam te pratijane priyasime. Lord Krishna, he reveals in the 65th verse of the 18th chapter that always think of him. Man mana bhav mad bhakto. Become my devotee. Madhyaji. Worship me. Mam namaskuru. Pay obeisance unto me. And you will return to me. Do not fear. And he also says his final verse, the instruction is Sarvadhamma Prityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vaja Aham Tuam Sarva Papebhya Moksha Shashmi Mashacha. Give up all varieties of religions. Sometimes people have various kinds of religions. They are sometimes thinking to take care of my family. Like in religion means dharma. But dharma is actually, in dharma word, doesn't have exact reflection in the word religion. Dharma means our true nature. What is our nature? Our nature is Jivera Surupaya Krishna Nityadas. We are eternal servant of Lord Krishna. So we should be working, a servant works to please the master. That's the way it should be. And even this body that we have received is coming from Lord Krishna. Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridadeshya janatishthati brahmyan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. So in the 61st verse in the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Lord is saying, Ishvara sarva bhutanam hridadeshya janatishthati. The Lord is residing in the heart of every living entity. Brahmyan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani maya. And the living entity is sitting on this machine known as body, which is made up of various senses, and is wandering in this material universe. So our wandering will, attain satisfaction when we serve the Lordship. So yes, we all want to become happy. So that's the first perspective. We are all seeking happiness. Anand bhaya abhyasat. So Vedanta Sutta, they reveal that. But we have to understand that to become happy, we may set some goals, thinking that this would be something that would make us happy. But what happens? We may attain the goal, but we may still not be happy. So we set another goal. And we may attain that goal too and still not happy. And then we set another goal. And this time maybe we don't achieve the goal and we become even morose. So in reality, we were never happy, even when we attain the goal or we don't attain the goal. So that's where Lord Krishna is revealing through Bhagavad Gita that when you work for your own satisfaction, for sense gratification, you don't get happiness. You may get what you're seeking, but you will not get happiness. But when you serve me in devotion, carrying out your duties as a service to me with mind, body, and words, then automatically, even when you don't get the desired result, you are fully satisfied. Parikshit Maharaj, let's look at this example. Srimadbhagavatam, as Devi shared earlier. He was cursed to die in 7 days. Now, Parikshit Maharaj's another name is Vishnu Rat. Vishnu Rat means one who was saved by Lord Vishnu, because Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, entered Uttara's womb when Ashwatthama had shot the Brahmastra to kill the baby in her womb, the embryo. And at that time, Lord Krishna had kept the Sudarshan Chakra to save the womb from outside, and he entered inside the womb and was using his Kaumudiki Gada, rotating very fast to remove any effect of this heat that's coming because of the Brahmastra to save the boy. And Parikshit means examiner. Why is he called examiner? Because he was just 7 months old and he saw the Lordship. So everyone he met after he took birth, he was searching for Krishna. Who's that personality I saw when I was in my mother's womb? That's why he's known as examiner. He was examining everyone very clearly. So here, obedience is very important, that we have to surrender to divine will without hesitation. B is, of course, nothing but bhakti. That simply starts with the chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Pure devotional love that transcends qualification. Yes, sometimes we can look at it as a service, but in reality, the service is done with love. That is an important lesson for us to always remember, that it doesn't require any qualification, doesn't require any position. The only thing that is required is simply loving the Lord. Man, he is unlimited. So his Katha Ananta, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. He is unlimited, his glories are unlimited. Yet at the same time, a child doesn't have to know how great his parents are. All he has to do is love the parents and they will reciprocate. And so when somebody reciprocates, with the Lordship, E happens. What is that? E is for elevation. Fearlessness and purification through divine touch, just like it happened in case of Prahlad Maharaj. And my dear devotees, we can all experience this. When we are chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Acharyas revealed that Lord lordships, Radha Krishna, they're dancing on our tongue. Nam Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinatvam Nam Namino. Padma Puran reveals this great secret on the chanting of the holy name. Nam Chintamani Krishna's, Lord Krishna's name is Chintamani, is, all desire fulfilling. Purna Shuddho Nityam. Nama Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. And it's endowed with all mellows, sweet mellows, and of course potencies. And Purna Shuddha, it completely purifies us. Shuddha means pure, purification, completely purifies us. So not just mind, body, our words also. Nitya Mukto, and deliver us. Again, when we talk about the gunas, the material modes, guna also means ropes. So we are bound by this material energy through the ropes. And this rope is not material energy binding us. It's we binding in the delusion to the material energy. It's like we are holding on to a tree and asking a tree to leave us. Oh, tree, leave me. But we are the one holding the tree. Means material energy is jad by nature. So the phones, they on their own, they cannot do anything. It is our desire how we use them, how we use material energy. Do we use it for our science gratification, or do we use it for Lord Krishna's service? That's what sets things apart. So context is very important. So when we chant the holy name, they nitya mukto, they transcend us, they liberate us from the clutches of this maya, which means they purify our consciousness. So again, current times, there are so many people are worried about wars across the globe with so many countries. You hear about Pakistan versus Afghanistan going on. You hear about Iran versus Israel, and now USA with Israel is engaged, and now European countries are coming in, and everyone is being asked to take sides, and everyone is saying World War III is going on. Well, there is a world war always going on in our heart, and we are thinking who should be winning. His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj gives a very beautiful example. If you have a good dog and if you have a bad dog, which dog do you think will win? So when he asked that question first time, the devotees were a little surprised, and they were thinking, well, anyone can win. We do not know which one will win. Jayapataka Maharaj said, the one you feed the most. So His Holiness reveals that one we feed the most. So if we feed our activities for the pleasure of Lord Krishna, our mind, body, and words be engaged for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. All sacrifice, austerities, and charities to be performed for the pleasure of Lord Krishna. Then, of course, we will make ourselves liberate from the clutches of material energy. And then these wars, conditions, they will not affect us. Abhinatvam nama namino. That Lord Krishna and His name Krishna are non-different. So we are in direct touch with Lord Krishna when we are chanting the holy name. Now we have to understand the mood in which we are chanting. When Lord Krishna came as a messenger of Pandavas, at that time, again, a little before that also, once Duryodhana, he kept Chappan Bhog for Lord Krishna. He invited him because they were in-laws, right? Lord Krishna's son, he was married to Duryodhana's daughter. So there was that relationship. But Lord Krishna didn't go to Duryodhana because his mood was how to manipulate everyone to be able to bring them to his side. Lord Krishna, he went to Vidura. And even though Vidurani was offering the peel of banana and throwing away the banana, because she was in ecstasy seeing the Lordship. And Lord Krishna was eating that peel of banana very nicely. So again, that is where elevation happens when we become, coming in contact with Lord is one, but in pure devotional love. That transcends our qualifications, the material qualification, the bodily qualification, they don't matter, only love matters. And this elevation leads to the final goal of yielding. Yielding, why is for yielding, which is accepting the Lord's guidance and mercy fully. That we accept what Lord desires. And this is what Arjuna accepted. So again, we have to look at things from the right perspective. then are we yielding to Lord's desire? Right? Obedience is immediate submission to the Lord's will. B for bhakti is pure devotional love despite adversity. E, elevation is for freedom from fear and material contamination. And Y is for yielding, complete acceptance of divine protection. So Srila Prabhupada in this regard, he reveals that Prahlad Maharaj's life proves that pure surrender evokes divine ecstasy and protection. And what's the effect? That fear disappears when one's heart is fully tuned to the Supreme's will. And even a child's innocent devotion is more pleasing to the Lord than the erudition of sages. Which reminds me of a sweet pastime. In Vrindavan, once, as cowherd boys, they were playing together, and it was Krishna's time to serve, right? Various times we have games like, Chor Police, which is like cops and thieves, or you have games like, in various two-sided games, sometimes everyone wants to bat. Nobody wants to bowl or something like that. So it was the other side activity, and Lord Krishna, he was playing with his cowherd, friends, but he didn't want to do that. He's like, what, I'm the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So everyone is like, oh no, Kana, you're not, Lala, you're not Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna says, close your eyes. So they closed their eyes. Lord Krishna says, open your eyes. They opened their eyes. Suddenly they saw that they are in Vaikuntha. And everyone is praying, and they're saying Krishna on the throne along with the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi Devi. And he's like, Krishna, what are you doing this? They're calling out, and immediately, the guards, they immediately chastised these boys, said, you should be doing Purusha Sukta prayers, Vedic prayers, not this. They immediately closed their eyes and said, Krishna, take us back, take us back, take us back. We don't want to be here. Because in Vaikuntha, the mood is different, awe and reverence, while they're in a loving mood. So Lord Krishna brings them back. He says, see, I am the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The cowherd boy said, okay, Krishna will let you go by this time, but next time you will have to serve, right? You have to do the right thing. You cannot use this excuse. So this is because there is a different mood of Braj that they have for Krishna. And Krishna loves this more than the erudition, the great prayers, Purushakta prayers in the Vaikuntha, where everyone is with awe and reverence serving the Lordship. So here we are seeing that Lord is won over by love. And all we have to do is yield to Lord's will and seek to serve Him. And how can we do this, right? So we can reflect on what the research situation where we hesitated to follow divine guidance or the instruction of a spiritual master or a mentor, right? What held you back? You should ask that. How would practicing immediate obedience like Prahlad Maharaj have changed the outcome completely, right? We can recall a time when we offered devotion with sincerity but doubted its value. How does Prahlad's pure devotion, independent of qualification, inspire us to express bhakti freely, fully, and with gratitude? And when we try looking to elevate, let's identify the fears or anxieties that dominate our minds. How does Prahlad's elevation through divine touches by trust in God's protection? Visualize practicing ourselves at the Lord's lotus feet. How does that shift our internal state? And yielding, how can we look at yielding? That where in our life are we still holding on to control instead of yielding to Lord's will? How can we practice inner acceptance like Prahlad or Sudama? Like Sudama Brahman, he was very proud to be poor, and Lord Krishna gave him wealth, destroyed his pride. So letting go of ego and trusting the Lord's plan. So again, all these things are various ways we can look at. Right? We can seek elevation through divine contact, express pure bhakti, and practice yielding on a daily basis. So these are some important lessons we can look in today's sessions. Again, obedience, what is it? It's actually a gateway to fearlessness. Small acts matter. Bhakti transcends qualifications. Elevation arises through surrender and divine grace. And yielding brings peace, acceptance, and alignment to the Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So thank you for joining us in today's session. Kantra Srimadbhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhagavad ki jai, Ananta Kori Vaishnava Vind ki jai, Nitai Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful week in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.